Hello, all you new people, if you're watching me. I just rewatched my top 3 Appleboom pens, which I made about a month ago. And the top 3 that I mentioned a month ago are still my top 3 now, I think. Though I may change my mind in 5 minutes. But now this was the top pen. This will always be my top 3, I think. The other 2 might change from time to time, but this one just is so great. Everything about it, every little ding. It's just perfect. Anyway, I have some new subscribers, and I think people will enjoy seeing what I might have to show with respect to pens, maybe with respect to the art that I make as well. We'll find out. I'm hoping that in the coming days I'll be able to sort out my very confused YouTube channel, make playlists that will be functional. And yes, Todd, thank you. That 494 is really, it's neat because one of the reasons that I like this pen is it's like the ads that they showed, the print ads for Waterman that showed here's the Saturday Evening Post ad, and there's, some pen technician building a pen. Maybe he's looking at the Waterman number 7 Ripple or something. And here he is up here with looking down at the pen, and there's the pliers here and a nib here or whatever. And he's assembling the pen, and the copy is up here, and down here the logo, Ideal or whatever. And it shows this guy, and he looks sort of like Colonel Sanders, if I'm remembering it correctly. And he's wearing wing collars, which were out of fashion a decade earlier than this ad was made. And he probably has pince-nez glasses rather than bows. He's just very old-fashioned, and this pen is old-fashioned too. It is, by the time they were making this pen, this is the 94 series, they were getting rid of this clip, they were getting rid of this lever, and they were putting in the more modern, streamlined looking lever and the more modern clip. But for some reason, this old guy with his wing collar and his bow tie and his pince-nez glasses said, wait, we can't do that. And he has his white lab coat on. We can't, not so fast, he says. We have to go slower. Please let us keep the old lever and the old clip. And they listened to him, as well they might. So anyway, I like this pen because of that. I have seen a modern version of this pen. A friend of mine who's no longer among the living had one just like it, 494, except it had the modern clip and the modern lever. And it just looked wrong to me because I was so used to this thing. I don't know if I told you, but I had a 594, identical to this pen, except solid gold. But what was really funny about the pen was it was chrome plated. Someone took this pen, maybe it was Waterman that did it. We're going to make a 14 karat gold, solid 14 karat gold pen, and we're going to chrome plate it. And I think Otto Yang owns that pen now because it's perfect for his collection. There was only one little tiny spot of the gold that you could see through, and it was, I think, right at the very tip of the ball. But the rest of it was bright, garish, ugly chrome. And it didn't have any dings in it. It was a perfectly lovely, it was completely pristine with the exception of that little tiny bit of wear. Yeah, it was, Otto's pen collection is just, it's an amazing thing. I think in many ways, it is the most sophisticated pen collection that I think is in existence because it is built with a very complicated formula. It's an easy formula. I'm going to collect every Indian head nickel that was ever, one from every year and from every foundry, whatever they're called, minting places. What are they called? Where do you make money? Whatever that word is, the factory. Hello, Ms. Marilyn. I'm sure I have seen his 416. His pens, anyway, as you know, are long and skinny. They're short and fat. They have weird filigree or overlay. It's like he found the ones that were genetically mutants. He found the mutations. Yeah, the mints, where they were minted, the mints. So, but that's a simple collection, to come up with those. But if you had a collection of nickels that, what would be an interesting collection of nickels, I wonder. But Otto would have them. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, mint condition is certainly not what I like, as you all know. So, Ms. Marilyn, did you see the top 3 pens, the Appleboom pen thing that I made? It was just issued today. And so I've got a lot of new subscribers. I like them abused and dinged. I like them abused. Do I like them? What sort of abuse don't I like? The only kind of abuse I don't like is the abuse that a pen repairman gave it. And I certainly have abused pens where I've cracked something and broken something. And if I can see that it was a mistake I made in fixing a pen, or that, I don't like those. I like honest cracks and broken bits. or they've been repaired. Yeah, the new subscribers, I was hoping that maybe some of them might, having pressed the subscribe button, would also now see that I was live and want to introduce themselves to me. And maybe they will. I should be doing something other than what I'm doing here, but I thought I'd better try to see if anyone does want to come on. I'm still on my Taperite kick. I bought this one recently on eBay, and there is something I don't like about a Taperite, and it's this ring sometimes feels loose, or it is loose. It's not really connected to the pen, so it sort of swivels around, rotates, and I can feel that when I'm writing with it, and that little looseness sort of is like it's like wearing a shoe that's untied. Yeah, I imagine that's the case, but again, if they may have gotten a notification if they, appears live now, so they might tune in and tune on. I've had some nice comments on Just's thing. People seem to get it. The top 3 pens that preceded mine, that was really a fun one where the guy wrote his entire review in rhyme, and it was really quite lovely. I don't really know whether I learned anything about the pens that he selected. Which often is what kind of is lacking in people's reviewing of pens. Not so much on his thing, but on any review. They tend not to dive as deeply as I might like. I don't know. It's just very interesting what people choose to show or to tell about their passion. The calligrapher Joe Vitello, I think his name is. His review was interesting in that not once did you see him use the pen. You saw his face talking, his head talking, and he held up a pen once in a while. But you didn't see his beautiful handwriting. You just saw his head, his big head. And, it seemed sad. I wanted to see the pens write. He writes so beautifully. His strokes are so unassuming. They're beautiful, but he does it so it's almost humble the way he writes. I don't know. It's very interesting. He tends to use pens that don't shade, and at least the examples I see, it's sort of about the purest, the purity of the shape of the letter, and which is really interesting. You're not distracted by the big swishy, thick downstroke with him. I had a pen customer here this morning who was. I wonder if I still have his. Let me get the samples he wrote, because his, no matter what pen he used, he was able to get a shaded line, and he was able to really convey, using even a Parker 51, the line quality that all of us like, the thick and thin. I'll be right back. He bought 4 Waterman pens from me today. 4 Waterman 52s. Let's see here. He was able to get the you know, these. I think this was the 494 that he tried. Yes, this is how he wrote with my 494. Beautiful, very fast writer. There's no fear in how he was writing. He goes right in. Very he's one of those people that uses a downstroke, a thick line on every downstroke. I'm too lazy to do that. Okay, where's the 51? Okay, Parker 51. Yes, like you, Marilyn. He loved the nib on this one, which I do too. This is a nib that was from a later era. It could have been a 94 series. It has the regular, not the heart breather hole, but just a circular one. This might have been on a emblem pen or a commando size. Just delightful. Where's the other 51? Anyway, he asked me to explain to him what it is about a 51 that he's supposed to like. Because he, like me, like many of us, look at a 51 and don't understand why are we bothering. Why would anyone bother to make a 51 when you have the ability to make a pen that has a flexible nib? And sometimes you want something that is inflexible to help focus your thoughts, or I do anyway. Last time he was here, though, he bought one of these Taperites. He was just in love with this Taperite that he tried out, and I said, you can buy it if you want. And he's really surprised at how it's not as flexible as this one, but it's a little bit flexible, and he just loves it. And he's surprised that he likes it as much as he does, but he does like them. This is the one that I bought the other day, my most recent eBay purchase, and its nib is not as expressive as I like it to be. It's a little too broad to start with, and it doesn't have as much flexibility as I want it to have. I want it to do more or be finer. Can I do a nib switcheroo, do you think? Would that be doable? Can I do a nib transplant? I really like this nib in this pen, though. The aluminum capped. I think I'm going to leave this one here. The aluminum cap, it's so lightweight that it seems perfect for this. Now, Joe is really, really good at what he does. I was really saddened that you didn't see any of it when he was on his top 3 pens. These Taperite nibs are impossible to, well, they're not impossible to get out. They're just very difficult to get out. Ms. Marilyn, you would not like a Taperite. You wouldn't be able to take them apart to clean them easily enough. Hi, Don Kim. How are you? Ouch. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there's any pen can have a nib that just makes your heart sink because it's so anything. It's too broad to be fine. It's too firm to be flexible. It's too meat and potatoes to be anything other than meat and potatoes. And sometimes meat and potatoes isn't enough. Um, this is one of those nibs. This is just meat. It's not even steak or hamburger. It's just some amalgam of animal that is slaughtered to make a meat dish. And that's what this nib is like. It's just so it's like Jack Webb, just the facts, ma'am, kind of Sergeant Joe Friday kind of a nib. But not even as interesting as that. It's really, really uninteresting, this nib. And I'm trying to like it and I can't. It just doesn't want to. Potted meat. Yeah. So I'll find a nib that will go nicely in this pen. This is one of those gray ones, which is kind of an interesting color. It's sort of like dirty putty. It's kind of a brownish gray. But such a boring nib. Come on, Pierre, I have to be able to take this out. It's not coming out, just wants to stay there. Okay, I'm gonna have to see when I can't get a pen apart to change it to my will. The pen will have to teach me to like it. This is going to be an uphill battle for this pen. Okay, so it's kind of loud. It's like the singer in the chorus who's kind of loud. You can always hear him, and he's always just a little bit flat. That's what this is like. That singer that just can't quite be on key, in key. Now, can I learn to like this nib? Knowing that? Or am I just making it harder? Can I change the cap of it? Would that make me like the pen more? See, why can't you be like this nib? This nib starts off thinner and goes to the same degree of fatness, but because it starts off thinner, it's so much better. This one doesn't work that way, and it's fat on the side stroke. Help me, people. What can I use this pen for? It's not, no, N-O. Now there is a way where this nib and this pen will eventually work for me. Let me put the cap that it had back on it. See, for example, this pen, when I was a waiter back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I would hand customers a pen for them to sign their Visa card. And this is a perfectly good pen for that because they can press down. It's not very flexible. It's smooth enough where they can move it around. It won't tear the tissue. It'll make an impression. And if by some freak chance they break it, I'm not going to be depressed. But this is a pen that I could easily hand anyone and they can sign their name. Or if they're cute, they could give me their phone number. Let's just put this right down into the gutter. And this pen would be fine. A lefty could take this pen and use it. They did have Visa cards, but they had the old-fashioned kind where they gave you a receipt that had 3 or 4 layers of paper. So this nib will grow on me. I'm trying to make it grow on me sooner than later. I did buy a desk pen on eBay that had a nib that I referred to as the Jack Webb Sergeant Joe Friday nib, which is very much like this nib. And I tried to like it, and it just was not working for me. And I ended up swapping. I took the nib out of the desk pen, put it in a pocket pen, and just did a nib swap. And the nibs, even though they didn't change the way they wrote, they somehow were suited better to the new body. Allowing a pen to teach you something is really one of the joys of pen collecting. If you come to, which is what I think people that don't use a pen, they just collect all of the different colors that the pen made. And I don't think I think they're missing out on so much, for one thing, but I also think that a pen that's bright blue, a lapis blue dual fold senior, is not going to get any bluer by looking at it more. You're not really going to, you might learn to appreciate a certain color combination over time, but really the nib, the heart of the pen, the soul of the pen is through the nib. And that's something you learn to appreciate, I think. And it will change if it's good at what it does. If that nib is good at what it does, it'll make you sit up and take notice of it and learn something while you're doing that. My Frankenpen from that video, Marilyn, are you talking about that one? I have lots of Frankenpens. This was the one that was in my video. just because it was on my desk here, easy to get at. I mean, not that other ones aren't, but I also wanted to talk about desk pens, the long taper of a desk pen. And this nib is amazing, as are many of them, but it's just really so neat to have a desk pen that you can so easily move your hand back and forth on the length of it. You can't really do that with regular pocket pens as easily. This was a Parker 51 desk set that a neighbor of mine bought from me years ago, and he decided he didn't want it anymore. So I bought it back. And I didn't have 51s to go in it because I didn't have 51s to go in it, but I had 45s that fit more or less in it. And so now it's back with me, and I put 45s in it that had, I guess these were the nibs I sold them, the pens I sold them. And I'm enjoying using it again. I find them too lightweight though. I feel that they're going to fall out of my hand. There's something, they seem, the plastic they used to make these pens must have had helium in it or something, because they seem lighter weight than they should be. Well, I do have other videos about how I create Frankenpens, but I just didn't want to have people immediately think that by just yanking a nib out of a thing and shoving it in is going to work, because it won't. You'll crack it. So I just wanted to very quickly make sure that that point got across. See, this Taperite nib is perfect because it's very fine, and but there's some variation in line that you can easily get with it. And it's so well suited for this very lightweight aluminum cap. Oh, look at those big teeth marks on that thing. Oh well. Gold bond. Stoneite, I think was what they called these things. Stoneite. Come on, Todd Merrill, that's your kind of thing. I don't have any for sale at the moment. But my calligraphy business has just tanked and gone to hell in a handbasket, and I have, right in front of me, I have 50, 60, 70. I probably have 75 Frankenpens that have dip nibs. A gold bond. I think they called their plastic Stoneite. So, Ms. Marilyn, at some point I will have some of these for sale. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to it. They're boingy boingy-y, as you might be able to see. Some are more boingy boingy-y than others. And the 21. Well, the 21, is just one of those pens. Is this a yellow one? This one says ballpoint. What does this say? Why do I have this in here? Why is this pen on my desk up here? Oh, that's why. Because it's boingy boingy-y. I think they're Stoneite. Look at that. Oh, that was because the feed hit the paper. Swan. Wow. He glued it back and it lasted for decades? Or he kept on gluing it back? Boinga. Well, mint 21s with price stickers in the box are broken. It's not like you can break them just by looking at them. This is really a nice pen. It's Stratford SS Stratford Incorporated. It's hard rubber, very heavy, very nicely weighted to the back. And I put a nice boinga boinga-y thing in this one too. Boing. It's really interesting, this, and I don't remember who made Stratfords. I want to say something like, looks almost proportioned like a Chilton. Parker 51. Well, yay for you, Attilio the Hun. Attilio Escobar. So you have an aerometric one, which means it will last forever. So that was good. If I only had 151 in my collection, only 151 to completely represent the ideal 51 to me, it would be a gray, dove gray aerometric with a luster alloy cap. There's something about that particular color and that particular kind of 51, even though it's late in their career, there's something about that color combination that was somehow the perfect color combination. There's one that I have that I had all ready to go to be sold to Will Hodge, and I'm keeping it. I'll find another one to give to sell him. And I know I've got other ones, but there's just something about that particular one and the nib that sort of really was nice. So I'm just keeping that for my little self. Look at this. Now this, you're saying this is wrong. Yes, I know it's wrong. This is supposed to have a threaded cap on it, but I don't have a threaded cap. So I'm using this slip-on cap instead, which works. So you said it has a stub name. Attilio, would you like to join me and talk face to face here? You're new to the group. I can invite you. You don't have to worry about combing your hair. If you have your camera pointing down, you can just look at your dirty fingers. Or you could. So let's just see if Attilio wants to join us before I invite people that have been here before. It's not that I don't want to see your other pretty faces or your other inky fingers, but I just thought maybe the new guy on the block might enjoy it. So Attilio, what that does, you click on that link and it will invite you to join me. So I'll be over here on this half of the screen and you'll be over here on this half. And if your camera is facing at your face, we get to hear you talking. And if it's aiming down, we can hear you talk and we can watch you draw. The pale blue gray and the burgundy. I think the burgundy is a nice one. I think the burgundy one is the one that I'm going to be sending off to Will Hodge, but I may change my mind. Did I show you that I inked up four 51s recently and was doing drawings with them. And one of them just wasn't working. And I eventually found a shell that went on the pen and it worked. And I realized that what was working about it, there was a big chip out of the front of the top of the shell. And that allowed the nib to sort of be a little bit more free. And the way the nib was shaped or something, I don't know what it was pushing up against the top and the tines wouldn't open. So Attilio, would you like to join me, us? What am I doing? Oh, shy schmy. What am I doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm just looking through pens. See, here's a flaw that I don't like to see. There's little plier marks from someone who tried to take this thing apart. And if those were teeth marks, it wouldn't bother me. But the fact that they're plier marks makes me think that. See, this nib I like. I want this nib to be in that other pen. No, I don't want that. I want that other pen to tell me, convince me why I like this one. Oh, I've done it. I've done things like that. Okay, so I'm writing with this again. Is this the one? Yes. Yes, it is the one. And just by ignoring it for a while, or maybe writing on this paper. See, this pen wants me to write vertically. Sometimes pens want you to do that. They want you to write vertically. None of this slanty business for me. No, this wants to be vertical. So I learned that much in the last 55 minutes and 24 seconds. I've learned that much about this pen, is it wants me to do this. This pen wants to be a seismograph. It's the big one. That's what it wants to be. So Attilio, where are you from in this big world? Tennessee. Okay. Do you have a southern drawl? Maybe it just needed this kind of paper. New Jersey. Oh, you have a New Jersey accent. I'm going to have to depart in a few minutes and deal with actual clients here. Schaefer Feather Touch number 5 nib with a lifetime. It's in the wrong pen, but I'm not complaining. That one, it has a nib that does this. Okay, look at me. Can't take me anywhere. I'm going to say goodbye to you folks now. Nice having you here, Attilio. Favorite vintage pen or top 3? Did you look at, do you know the Appleboom pen thing? I just said what my top 3 pens were there. The top 3 that I would recommend for other people. One would be a Parker 51, and one would be a Waterman 52, and another one would be a Skyline. I think that those 3 pens would be the perfect pens for people to begin their pen collecting with. They're all easily findable, and they're all perfect in their own way. Now look at this little. This is almost like the pen that I have, except seeing it come out of this smaller version of a pen is sort of interesting. Anyway, yes, check out the top 3 on Appleboom thing, and you'll see me waxing poetic about 3 of the pens I have. So I'll say goodbye, Attilio. It was nice seeing you. We'll get you over your shyness soon, I hope. Okay, great. No, the 55 or 56, I'd rather have 3 52s or 4 52s for the price of a 55, because I'd have 3 different or 4 different kinds of nibs. The fatter pen doesn't really necessarily do it to me. I mean, I have them. Here's a 56 right here. They're neat. They're okay. They're big and fat. They make me want to be aggressive. They want me to, I feel I can't be as genteel. Here's a 55. It's a beautiful nib in this one. Wow. Accommodation clip. Yeah, that's a 56. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. It's just if I think a 52 though will do almost everything and more than a 56. You hold them by the section. I probably do too when I'm writing with them. When I'm drawing with them, I tend to hold them back further. Well, I just sold 4 of them to this guy for about $80 a piece. None of them had clips on the caps, and they were all very worn and very browned. The ebonite was very faded, but the nibs, he was buying us. He didn't care about a pen with a clip. He didn't care. He didn't need a clip. He was happy. He was buying them for the nibs, and he got 4 really, really beautiful nibs. So here's a 52. Well, 12 PSF, same difference. But this has a clip. This would be more. A 52 though, Alito, Attilio, not Alito, Attilio. 52s, buying a 52, Waterman 52, does not necessarily mean you're going to get a flexible nibbed pen. You might get a firm, rigid, very unsexy nib in a 52. Another 55. But you should be able to find a 52, a working 52, with a standard flexible Waterman #2 nib for $50, $60, $70. No. They are not all flexible. Many of them are. Waterman was sort of old-fashioned, and they liked their flexible nibs, but they also made, here's a Waterman 52. You know, it's not very flexible. It's very fine. It just tore into that paper. This has that range. Perfectly lovely range for a 52. I mean, a number 2 size nib. There's nothing wrong with that pen. Here's another number 2 size Waterman. Starts out broader, goes really broad. 500, oh dear. Well, that's 400 too much. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. There were 2 people that thought it was worth that much. Okay, this is a 452, but it's essentially a 52. It's a number 2 nib. This is like the first one. So number 4. I just tried this one. Here's a number 2 nib. This is you could pound a nail into the wall and hang your coat on this thing. Very well. There's a little bit of give to it, but very, very firm. If you bought this thinking it was going to be flexible, you'd be very disappointed. Todd, are you still here? Here's a Chilton desk pen. This is a Waterman. I don't know if this is a rigid pen or an accountant nib. It's cracked. The back of the nib is cracked. But even this nib is fun. Okay, here's the 56. And this is, this is a 100-year nib or something. It's not a number 6, but it's a 6 size nib. Kitty. See, this one I thought would be way more flexible than it is. It looks like it would be very flexible. I mean, look at well, you can't see. The tines are really, really long on this one. It looks like it would be more flexible than it is. This one nice and wet. Okay, my cat is demanding me to feed it now, so I suppose I better feed it. Attilio, why don't you do this? Take a picture of your handwriting or your scribbling with the pen nibs and email them to me. I'd love to see what they look like. So we'll catch you later. PierreGustafsonStudio@gmail.com. I'll give her some love. She doesn't particularly like it from anyone other than from Matt, but I'll do my best. See you later.